10 is greater than 5. Number 9, your vertex should be there at -4 or -1, -4. It shoots off in all directions. It's a nice V shape because that's what all active right across are. Number 10, vertex at 4, 3. Nice little V shape there. Number 11, an upside down U because of the negative x squared. Like the axis of symmetry is at -1, with that vertex at -1, 2. Slope down like that. 12 axis of symmetry is also -1, with its minimum down there at -2. Nice little U shape. 13. We should have a line that looks as such. 14.
Mine looks as such. Mine looks as such.
15 looks as such.
What was 14?
There you go.
Mine looks as such.
16 looks as such.
You go back to 14.
Not right now. So ours is just a little bit of that.
Ooh.
17. Forget the little scribbly line. This is what it should be right here. But it starts at 3, 2. Wait, is that wrong? That's wrong. Sorry, it should be here. Sorry. Wait, let me change it.
Yay.
Should be at 2, 3. No, that's right.
No, that's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. You said it was wrong. 18 is just your typical x cubed curve, but it starts up to, so it should be right there. And 19 and 20, 19 the domain is both x, domain and range are both all real numbers. 20, the domain is all real numbers, and the range is y is greater than or equal to -2. 14 for those of you who can't follow along is right there. These would be the times that prime has souls. With that said,
Oh.
with that being said, let's see what we got here. Did we get something here? Why is it not clear? Click. Questions on this first page? If you have anything at all on the inequalities section, this would be the time to ask. Lights, please, so I can see. I don't think it's there yet, is it?
So, 4.
4 is going opposite directions, children. That's just a general. Ands come together, or is going opposite directions. Still waiting for the board to react. There it is. Now, Sam Papa, number 4. Number 4. What's your question, number 4?
I got -9.
You have 3b plus 5 greater than or equal to 2. You subtracted 5?
Yeah.
2 minus 5 is?
-3.
-3. 3b is greater than or equal to 3. How do you get b by itself? Divide by 3. 3 divided by 3, I believe, is -1. So at -1, it's a closed circle, and it's greater than, so it goes this way. Holly?
Can you do the time?
But if you needed big arrows. Okay, now this one is a little confusing in the sense that it kind of, the numbers are flip-flopped the way they should be. Okay, but you need to remember that you need to make two equations with this. This is one, negative 10 is greater than 5a, and this is the other. 5a is greater than or equal to negative 25. Two separate equations. How do you solve them for a? You're gonna do the same thing on both, divide by 5, divide by 5. So negative 2 is greater than a. And this one you divide by 5, you divide by 5. A is greater than or equal to negative 5. Now these signs are flip-flop. Remember I said and should always have less than signs? Okay, well that's just because these are all flipped over backwards. This is the bigger number, this is the smaller number, but the signs are still pointing the right way. A is less than negative 2, and A is greater than or equal to negative 5. And it's greater than in this way. You could have just written it. The negative 5 should have come first, the negative 2 should go there, the A should go there,
Is that it? Or-
and these get, does it say or anywhere? You see the word or anywhere?
No.
Not an or unless you'll see the word or. It will specifically say or on it. And can either look like this or it'll actually say the word and. Ors have to say or. Right, Charles? What did I just say, Charles?
Always have to see.
Ors have to say ors. Rowboats have to have ors. Yeah. Sam, what is that in that jug?
Water.
Slide.
It's water.
Why is it colored?
There's meal.
Huh?
There's meal in it.
Is meal
It's
good for
water
you,
and
Sam?
water.
Anything on this first page, Kendall?
Can you do number 9?
When you're doing a problem like number 9, first of all, it's an absolute value problem. And if you should know what the absolute value symbol is, what does the absolute value graph look like? I'm not sure how you could go through the last 2 weeks and not having any idea. So, you are going to have a V. Okay? You are going to have a V, but you just need to know where this point is going to end up. Okay? It's either, it could be anywhere. It could be down here, wherever. Okay, you don't just randomly pick. What tells you where the vertex of that V goes? This number and this number. The last number is the Y number, which means how far up or down. This actually starts at -4, so you're down here at -4. And this number in here, you have to think opposite. +1, you always think about going to the right, but it's not. If it's inside the thing there, and +1, you go opposite, and it starts at -1. So this is your graph of that. -4, -1, because it's opposite whatever's in there. And that is all the graph is right there. Make sure you put your arrows on it, it goes forever in that direction. Same thing for problem number 10. These, you should be able to do these relatively quickly. Okay, so this is just +3, and it's because it's negative, you go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where your V starts. And that's it. No graphs needed, no numbers, no tables, no nothing. And that is the identical same thing. Hold on a second. That is the same thing you do for, not that one. Let's go down here to. Same thing you do for problem number 17. That's what it goes fast. Fast? Oh, look at that, how fast that was. Same thing for problem 17. You know that the square root thing looks like what, Kendall?
It's a line. Or the switch thing.
Yeah, the Nike little switch thing. You know that it's going to be a thing that looks like this. You just need to know where this little point is, and it's the same deal. You go up 2, and opposite of what that is, over 3 to the right. So you go up your 2, please, up 2, 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And that's your Nike swish. Was that the one I asked you to find domain and range for?
No,
No, zero.
Anyone's on this page, so I don't have to keep switching back and forth.
Josh, this one.
Josh!
I kind of don't understand 18.
Kind of not understand 18. Well, again, the first thing you must understand, Josh, is you need to know what the x cubed parent function is, or what all x cubes, if it's by itself, looks like, and that is what?
Like the line up and then the cross and then up again.
Oh, that's all x cubes, but then that's just x cubes. If it has an x squared with the x cubed, it gets all goofy, but this is all we're dealing with now. And the only thing that'll change there is whatever this number is here. And that's how far up and down it goes. So if it's x cubed plus 2, you just go up to the positive 2, and that's where that thing starts. That's it. Children, all of you, these won't shift to the right or left, because we're not doing that, Colton. We're just going, you only shift it up and down. Should be pretty cut and dry and or simple there. Caroline!
You did 15.
Is that on this page? You say yes?
Yep.
It's not on my where I did it though, is it? 15? Love 15. Oh yeah, this is a good one here. Hold on a sec. This is a case of where not always does math pretty, but you just need to do the same stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying, Vern? This is this. First of all, what form is this equation in, Caroline? Yes, standard form. And how do you graph standard form ones? You find what's called the, somebody help me out on this, Gabe? X, Y intercepts, the place where that line crosses the X and Y axis. And you do that by doing this. Cross off the X and see what does Y equal? Negative 1. So you put your little dot at negative 1. Now here's where things get a little goofy because it doesn't work out evenly. Cross off the Y, you end up with 2x equals negative 1. And if you have to rewrite that and solve it, if 2x equals a negative 1, what does x equal? Divide by 2, and don't panic, x does equal a negative half, but you are smart people. You can figure out what negative 1/2 is on the axis. It's right between negative 1 and 0, so negative 1/2 is right there, and that's going to be good enough. These graphs aren't perfect. You just draw your line between those 2 points, and that is the graph of that line. That'll get you close enough.
Like, how'd you get 2x equals?
I did away with the y, what's left there? It's 2x equals negative 1. So close is good enough when it comes to graphing. It's not an exact perfect science there. You remember me with another one, Josh?
I have a question on another page.
Which one?
11.
11? I love number 11. These, I would think, 11 and 12 are probably the most difficult problems. Sorry. And the only thing, the best advice I can give you is number 1, take your time with it. Why so big? Why so serious? The only thing I can tell you is just make sure you take your time and write down all the stuff. So Josh, when it is a quadratic, which is what this is, any x squared thing is called a quadratic, 1, 2, 3, 4 terms or something like that. What's the first thing you should do?
I mean 0 to 2a.
No.
Oh, a equals
Right. Write down what all the stuff is. A equals what?
negative 1,
A equals negative 1, B equals
negative 2,
negative 2, C equals 1. Now, axis of symmetry is, like you said, negative b over 2a. I would recommend you put parentheses for that. What is b?
negative 2,
What is a?
negative 1,
So you end up with a negative 2, which is a positive 2, over negative 1 times 2, which is a negative 2. So that is,
negative 2.
no,
Or,
negative 1. The axis of symmetry, 2 over 2 is 1, is at negative 1. So you know this thing is symmetric about that axis. You also know that it's a negative x squared, so it's going to be an upside down umbrella. So you're going to try to find this point right here, its highest point, its maximum point. And to do that, you take this -1 and see where the y value is, which means you take -1 and put it in this equation. So you have negative x squared minus 2x plus 1. Putting your -1s in there. -1 squared. Josh?
Positive,
1, but then there's a negative out there, it changes it back to -1. -2 times -1? Positive 2, thank you. Positive 1 there. So what's a -1 plus 2 plus 1? 2. So when I put -1 in for x, I ended up with a 2 for y. So at -1, there's a dot at 2. That is going to be your maximum value. The other one I would put in is 0, because 0 is really easy. It makes both of these cross off. 0 is going to be +1. So at 0, there's a point there. It's symmetrical, so there's a point there. And then that would be all I would really need. Your graph is going to look like this. And again, there should be arrows on this. It goes forever in every direction. What would be the range for this? What are the y values? What are the up and down? The range equals y equals what? What can y be? Y is never up here at 3. It starts right here at 2. And it is everything that is greater than or less than 2. Y is less than or equal to 2. You're going down. It can be anything smaller. It could be a -1 million. At some point it will be there. Taylor?
Would the domain be all real?
Right. The domain is all real numbers because of these arrows. It'll go forever in either direction eventually. It doesn't look like it because it kind of only goes that far, but if you keep drawing that thing out, it keeps getting wider and wider and wider and wider. It will never stop getting wider. It'll never become perfectly vertical. Again, I would say, if you just take your time on this, write everything out, I think you'll find yourself a little better for it. Other ones? Hold on here. Nobody has trouble with the slope-intercept form of these things? Everybody got those right? 13 crosses the y-axis at +1. It has a -4/1 slope, which means it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. This way or this way will give you negative slope when you connect it with that dot. It has to be this one, otherwise it's positive slope.
How'd you get the 1?
exposure.
So you just
Whatever this number is, you put a dot on the y-axis. Again, a +1, I put a dot on the y-axis at +1. +1/2 slope, up 1 over 2.
Whoa.
Ooh, we haven't used this little feature in a while. Other ones? Sam?
12.
No.
Just do 12. We did 11.
I don't want to do 12.
All
Alright, Sam, what's your ABC?
Is negative,
A is 2,
yeah, oh, A is 2,
B is 4,
yeah, and then
C
there's no
is
C.
0. Axis of symmetry, negative B over 2A, negative B over 2A, B is 4, A is 2, you get -4 over 4, so your axis of symmetry is, that is great. Did I do something wrong?
I was
No,
right.
it's not right.
Oh, I just thought that this would be not quite right, but alright. So it's -1. Positive, so it's gonna be one of these guys, right side up, so you wanna find its minimum value, and that's by putting, you find that by putting -1 in for x. So 2 times x squared plus 4 times x. Negative 1 squared is positive 1 times 2 is a positive 2. 4 times negative 1 is a negative 4. Positive 2. Negative 4 is,
-2,
got it, negative 2.
and then 0.
If you put 0 in for x's, all of them go away. So if you put nothing for y, so the origin is going to be 1 point on the other side, and there's your skinny, but right. Alright, most likely, because so many people are gonna be gone tomorrow,